to another episode of In the City con Christi. I'm your mayor, Christi Fraga, and today I have a very special guest with me. Many of you know, and I've had many of you email me before about the Miami-Dade Animal Services building that's in our city, right on 79th Avenue. I know some of you have partnered and volunteered there before. Maybe you've been a foster parent to one of these beautiful animals, or maybe you've adopted, because we always promote adopt, don't shop. So today I have with me Anette Jose, who is the director of Miami-Dade Animal Services. Anette, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. I'm so happy that we're finally meeting.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you guys are in our city.
Yes.
I've been there several times. I had met the previous director. I volunteered in the old shelter when it was just outside of our city. Since it's opened, I've been several times. And, you know, this is something that it's a service that the county provides, but a lot of people don't really understand or know the extent of what you do, of what you guys offer. We get a lot of emails sometimes of people that are not always happy about things that are going on. It's really hot outside. Lately, there's been a lot of conversation about the overcrowding of animals, of dogs that you have that have stayed in the old shelter. So I want to talk a little bit about all these things. I want our audience to understand, one, how they can help. Two, what is it that you guys do? And, you know, it's definitely a compassionate job because you have to love animals. Mm-hmm. But it's tough. It's presented a lot of challenges. So tell me a little bit about your operations and how our residents can participate.
So the shelter is your shelter. It's our county shelter, but more importantly, it's the city of Doral's shelter, where we house comfortably 350 dogs, but right now we have 630 dogs.
Wow.
So the overpopulation crisis is something that the entire country is experiencing, and here it's no different. And that's what led us to now have to use the overflow facility at Medley. Sure, it's not a great facility. We wish that all of them could be inside air conditioning, but due to our no-kill mission, which tells us we're never going to euthanize for space, then our only option is to use the Medley facility to accommodate the number of dogs that are coming in weekly.
So how can we help? I know that there was like a call for bags of ice and like cooling sheets and things like that. I know that our community had members that went out and donated stuff. How can our community help you?
So the great thing is everybody can get engaged with the shelter. You can do it from the seat of your house, or you could come in and actively participate by volunteering. Now, from your house, you can send donations. We need blankets every single day. These dogs are living in crates. Some of them, not crates, but like metal bank cages. Others have great displays, but all of them need blankets or pillows or sheets just to make them more comfortable.
What about toys?
Of course, toys, they destroy them probably in one day, so as many toys as you can send toys. We also provide them little Kongs with treats inside to keep them occupied while they're in their kennels. So all those things you can do an Amazon wish list, which we have posted on our website. You can click on there, send some donations, or if you have the time, now that it's summer, maybe there's kids home from college.
That's what I was going to ask you next. How about volunteering for our students? I get calls all the time about students that need volunteer hours, or maybe they're interested in going into a career of veterinary services, or they love animals. How can our students participate?
So we have two ways to participate. We have an internship program. I am a big proponent of internships and mentoring. You can intern in any of the areas if you're interested in finance, if you're interested in social media, or if you want to do clinical with the veterinary team. All of that is available. Also, you can volunteer. You can come and walk dogs. You can come, if you're an early riser, help us feed the dogs in the morning. We feed them at 6 in the morning. We always need help with that.
What do you have? Is there age restrictions? Can you tell me a little bit? How can people apply? How can they find?
So go online to our website at miamidade.gov/animals. There you're going to find the volunteer page where you'll have the application. We have orientation every Saturday. Children or teens 16 and over can volunteer on their own. At 14, you can come with a parent.
Okay. Okay, great. So anybody who is maybe looking for community service hours, has a passion for animals, can go on your website, apply, and possibly get some volunteer hours and help in this great cause.
Yeah, and we also have the foster program.
Right. Tell us a little bit about the foster program.
The foster program is great because it allows one of our dogs to get out of the shelter even for a few days. So maybe you can't adopt, but 1 or 2 weeks out of the month, you're able to provide a little respite for the dog. It helps them calm down, get out of that loud shelter, and be in a home environment. And believe it or not, that makes them more adoptable because now they're more sociable.
Yeah.
We provide everything. We provide the food, the leash, anything you need to make that experience better, we will provide it.
Awesome. You also have kittens and cats.
We do. We have a neonate program.
Okay, and how's that? Do you have a overpopulation there as well? What's
We have a lot of cats, but they're a lot easier.
Okay.
Because I could always convince someone to adopt more than one cat, believe it or not.
Okay.
With dogs, it's harder.
Yeah.
And
cats are a little more independent too, so I guess it's less work.
It's less work. People are less reluctant to commit, make a long-term commitment to a cat. So we have a neonate program. If you're interested in helping those little babies get bottle fed, we provide you all the bottles, the food. The only hard part, every 2 hours. It's literally like having an infant.
Wow.
So every 2 hours you have to
But
bottle
can students
feed
do
them.
this too at home? Like,
Absolutely.
and they get
Well,
hours?
yeah, we send them home with you, and you will get your community hours that way.
Wow, that's great. And so you take them home, you basically nurture them until they're of an age of being a little bit more.
Until
if you
they're
can't
about
keep 'em.
6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
We'll take them back, and then we do the spay and neuter surgery and put them up for adoption.
Awesome. And that's another service you all have, right, that helps kind of fund the department as well. Is I used to take my dog there to get her rabies shots and her vaccines and things like that because it was cost effective,
Right.
you know. And so can you talk to me a little bit about the services that the department also provides?
We have our wellness clinic, which provides vaccines and just basic care at low cost.
Okay.
But we've also made a commitment to providing more spay-neuter surgeries and making them free.
Okay.
Because we know that the way we're going to affect the overpopulation in the future is to stop the breeding of puppies and dogs. So
And cats.
and cats, yeah. So
Which we'll talk about that in a minute too, because I get a lot of those calls here
Yeah.
on the trap and release.
Right. So for the dogs, we've been offering spay-neuter services on weekends twice a month, almost every month since October, and it's been completely free.
Okay.
So you're able to call 311, make an appointment, and bring your dog to get spay or neuter. That is going to make a huge impact in the future population of dogs in this city. Now with the cats, it's called a Trap, Neuter, Vaccinate, and Release program.
Right.
It's a huge program. We probably do more than any other shelter in the country. Again, absolutely free. You're able to, if you have free roaming cats in your neighborhood, trap them, bring them to the shelter. We provide the vaccines, we make sure they're healthy, and then we give them back to you. Or if you check a box and want them delivered by us back to where you found them,
You can do that too.
we can do that as well.
So we actually have an animal welfare committee here in the city of Doral, and it was
Yes.
started a long time ago when I first got elected. I believe it was like 2013. We started it with the help of a resident in our city who's still here. I love her very much, and she's a huge animal advocate. And she wanted to educate people on the trap, neuter, vaccine, and release.
Yes.
And, you know, we have a lot of closed communities. You have a lot of people who feed the cats and things like that. People are compassionate about these animals. They're little animals that, like, I mean,
Right.
most people, who wants to hurt a small, you know, an animal that it's God's creation. But a lot of people are like, they don't want them roaming around their neighborhoods, and so they want them trapped and removed. And so we tried to do a very strong education campaign that if you remove them, more cats are just going to come. They're
Right.
kind of territorial. So the best way to neutralize the population and support, you know, both needs is to have a program where you can trap them, you neuter them, vaccine, they clip the ear, right? So you know
Yeah.
that they're a cat that's been kind of taken care of, and that will help control that population. And they are territorial, so more cats kind of won't come in.
That's
right?
a
Isn't
perfect explanation.
Okay.
I couldn't have said it better.
I learned a little bit about
You
this
sure did.
during that time because I wanted to support her, and also I think it's important because and I know it's annoying for some people, like, oh, the cats all over my neighborhood, but they're actually very helpful. They kill
That's right.
mice, and
Right.
they're it's all part of the ecosystem
Right.
that we need to have, but we want to control the population and not have too many either. And so I think it's important for Doral to help in that education process along with your services.
Exactly. And if you need help, you call 311, send me an email. I always send it off to our team, and they will go and trap with you or do
Okay.
it for you.
Or teach you.
Or teach you,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're right. I think it's important to have the cats around because of controlling the rodent problem.
Yeah.
There's a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
And like you said, more will come if
Right.
we just remove them. So
Right.
it's better to work with it.
Yeah.
Feed in, be mindful of where you're feeding.
right.
Don't put it near other people's property
Right.
and things like that. But
Right.
those are things that we can solve, just
Right.
working together.
Right, absolutely. I think it's always, a lot of times it's about an educational component.
Yes.
And I'm big on that, obviously, as you see. Like, one of the reasons I decided to start this podcast was I wanted people to learn about all the different resources that are available to them in their community, in the county, at the state level, what it is that we do as public servants to work for our city, for our community, and to improve on these things.
And I'm glad you
So-
said that because I do want people to realize that we are a resource.
Yeah.
We're not just a shelter that's bringing in animals and keeping them there. We're a resource. If you're having difficulty and you feel like you may have to give up your pet, let us know. Let us know how we can help. We, our biggest goal is to keep you and your pet together.
Oh, that's absolutely. And so one of the other things that I wanted to talk about, and you mentioned it briefly, is, your services it's a no-kill shelter, right?
Yes.
And it's one of the reasons you're experiencing this overpopulation. Obviously, I advocated very heavily for it to be a no-kill shelter because, I think we have to love and cherish these animals' lives. It does create your challenges, so right where
Yes.
what you have right now, but it's not always the perfect solution, right? Sometimes you do get dogs or cats that are sick.
Yeah.
I just went through this with my dog, who was 17 years old, and was my first baby. She was my first
Right.
daughter, my first. I have a son, but she was my first baby. My husband and I mean, I've never seen my husband cry so much. Don't tell them I said that. But we made a decision that she was suffering, and the vet told us. I mean, we tried everything, and the vet told us, look, she's 17. Her kidneys have failed. Her stomach was really inflated. She wasn't going to the bathroom. She had stopped eating for like 3 days, wasn't getting up, and she was suffering. And as much as I wanted to keep her with me, and I miss walking into my house and watching her tail wag and stuff, I realized that it was her time, and she was suffering. But I had to make a decision. I wanted her to go naturally, but I had to make a decision to put her down because the vet was like, she's suffering. You don't want her to suffer. And I stayed with her till the last minute. But for a lot of people, that's a really hard decision. Talk to me a little bit about the no-kill and how, you have to kind of rely on professionals at times to make these calls.
First, I want to say I'm so sorry.
Thank
Sorry
you.
for your
we
loss.
miss her terribly. Maybe we'll have to adopt soon.
I hope you do.
My husband and I
know
have been
you will.
talking about it, and my son, who is an only child, has missed her and has wanted, and we're busy, and it's a huge commitment.
It is.
It's a huge commitment,
But it's
especially when you
also-
love them as much, and
Exactly.
and she came with me everywhere when we traveled with her, and so it's a huge commitment. But I think I grew
Soon.
up always with a mascot, with a dog. And so I want my son to as well. And you'll see I've got pictures of her all over my office.
Oh, yeah, I
still.
see her.
So, but talk to me a little bit about that, but thank you.
So yeah, we do have, I want to talk about it in two phases. One is we do have that service available to people that unfortunately have to make that decision. And it's a service that I'm really proud of because we do it in a way that really is compassionate because we understand. We understand that this is a time that you need to be with your pet. We have a room, it's called the reflection room. There's a couch. It's very peaceful and quiet. And that's where we provide the medication to sedate the dog. And they stay with you that entire time until you're ready, until you feel that you have said your goodbye. And we really respect that and hold that in high regard. Also, we have to make decisions when dogs come into the shelter. You know, dogs that are coming to the shelter usually have gone through some trauma. Whether it's an illness, whether it's that they've been living on the street, or they were injured while living on the street. So as much as we can, we will provide them care. In fact, we have a dog right now. He's an office foster. He's in our chief vet's office. He came in with 2 broken legs.
Wow.
2, the front and the back on the same side. So any other shelter probably would have made the decision to euthanize that dog because you can't amputate both legs. But she was determined to help this dog. Victor is his name, has 2 casts. And he walks on the 2 casts, and he's getting stronger and stronger, and hopefully eventually the cast will come off. But trust me when I tell you, our veterinarians have dedicated their careers, not just to veterinary medicine, but to shelter medicine, which is so difficult. And it's such an emotional job. So we do everything we can in that and to save their lives. But sometimes when they come in, they have tumors, they're blind, they have disease, and the best thing to do really is to humanely euthanize that animal.
Yeah, that I can't imagine how hard that must be because you grow attached, and I mean, in many cases, they become your family member, right? In your households. But I can imagine, like working at a place like that, and sometimes I'm sure you get them when they're young, and if they don't get adopted, you get attached. You get attached to them,
right?
And so I think it's definitely gotta be a tough job. So I take my hats off to you guys and to your team and everybody who works there. Every time I've gone, honestly, it's been very helpful, and you see everybody's happy and they're trying their best to give these animals as much as a quality life as they can in the condition that we're all in, right? Because they are at a shelter. These are obviously dogs that have been abandoned or I just think there needs to be more education on when people are buying dogs, like the commitment that it takes, education on, what services are available if you go into financial hardship, to help in taking care of the responsibility that you took on when you take a dog.
Yeah. And, addressing some of the obstacles to adoption or pet ownership. So we're seeing that a lot of homeowners or associations are putting in barriers to having dogs. So
I didn't know this.
Yeah, working with them, hopefully they'll be listening and, open their minds to allowing people to have pets. We know that people are healthier when they have pets. Emotionally, right. Even healthier physically because you're going for that walk. You're getting up out of your couch and enjoying the fresh air with your pet. So there's a lot of benefits. If they have to charge a deposit, I understand, but don't put obstacles in pet adoption.
Right.
Our pets need homes, and
a lot of time they are bigger dogs.
They are bigger dogs, but you know what? Bigger dogs tend to be just like couch potatoes.
Yeah,
the
Very
little
lovable.
ones are a little bit more hyper
and need more maintenance.
Yeah, but the big ones can just sit by the couch with you after a long walk.
Yeah, that's true. Very good. So one of the other things that I think people have a misconception about the shelter or what you all do is the wildlife side of it. So a lot of people think Miami-Dade Animal Services is like wildlife services. Like I've got a raccoon in my backyard or a snake or this. Talk to me a little bit about that part. Do you get those calls?
We get those calls. I think the most outlandish one we received was for a crocodile.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't do crocodiles. We don't do snakes or raccoons. But we do have partners. We know we can still help you.
Yeah.
We have that no wrong door initiative or philosophy where if you call us, we're going to get you to the right person.
Right.
So we have partners that will pick up coyotes, raccoons, and snakes.
Okay.
Okay.
So do you work with Florida Fish and Wildlife for some of those things?
For
or?
some of those things, yes. So for like a crocodile, we would
We
call
get a
for
lot
it.
of calls about coyotes. I don't know if you wanted to say that on my podcast.
So for coyotes, mostly
we have a lot in Doral.
We do.
Yeah.
We have a lot, yeah.
In South Florida.
In South Florida, yeah.
I don't think people realize because they're nocturnal, and they look like dogs.
And they look like dogs.
They look like dogs, but
Yeah.
there's coyotes everywhere. They've been
Yeah.
in my neighborhood for years.
So if they don't look sick, if they're not, bothering your pets at home or
Right.
something, then mostly we would just let them be because this is their environment.
Right, their habitat.
Now,
yeah.
if you see one that looks sick and you're afraid,
Yeah.
then in that case, we have partners
See,
that
I
we
just
would
learned
call
something
and
new.
we'll
so
trap them.
they can call you for
Yeah.
some of those things. Okay, I just learned something new because I always referred to Florida Fish and Wildlife for those
Which
things.
is better.
Yeah, right.
But
Well,
we
obviously.
could help you.
You can help. Okay.
We can help in connecting you with the right person. We personally won't go out.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the adoption side. I know we were just talking about the condos and things, but I've seen the truck out quite a bit now. I guess because you're trying to get some of these dogs
Yeah.
that have been there for a bit, moving to new homes and to a loving family. Talk to us a little bit about, who can help with this? Who can call for adoptions if they want to bring out the van? How do we get our community to adopt, don't shop?
Yes. So my commitment when I became director in October
Mm-hmm.
was to really engage with the community. I know Doral is close for us here, right, for your residents, but for people that live in Homestead, people that live in North Miami, they don't make it down here as
Right.
often. So I wanted to be really visible in the community, let them know we are the community shelter. We're here. A lot of people didn't even know where the shelter was. Many still thought we were in Medley. So just creating awareness, and that's why you see us so many places. If you have an event, farmers market, movie nights, anything where families are getting together, invite us.
Okay.
We'll bring the truck. It houses about 10 to 15 dogs. We'll take some cats as well if we have room in the truck. And what we want to do is introduce you to the dogs.
Right.
People have a conception that maybe all of them look a certain way. We have beautiful dogs.
I know, I've seen
many
'em.
different breeds.
When we
So-
had the one here, we've done it a couple of times. We've done it
Yeah.
at some of our movie nights. We've done it at we did it at our Earth Day. We've had you guys out
Right.
there, and we've even done it here at the Cultural Center. And our employees several times have adopted
Yeah.
dogs and small dogs too. You guys have
We
small dogs.
will.
I know that they're a little more rare to find like puppies or smaller dogs, or they go quicker
They go
because
quicker.
because they're they're a little bit easier to adopt and
Mm-hmm.
people feel more comfortable with it. With them, but besides having all different breeds and sizes, you do have at times the
We
smaller
do.
dogs.
And we are seeing a lot of puppies, believe it or not. And
Really?
it's an indication of the fact that we weren't spaying, neutering the dogs starting in 2020. When COVID hit, we stopped doing surgeries so that the hospitals can have their PPE.
Mm.
And we're seeing now that there's
the results of that.
the results of that. So
Let me ask you a question, because I'm curious and I didn't ask it. How do the dogs come to you? Do you guys actively have people out there like picking up dogs
So-
that are strays, or people call, or do most people bring them in? What do you see most of?
what we're asking the community now is if you find a dog in your neighborhood, keep it for a few days.
See if someone.
See if someone, puts signs up, put it on next door.
Do you check if they have chips?
Yes. And we're providing microchip scanners to police departments.
Oh, okay.
So if there's a local police department near you, go there. They can scan and see if there's a chip, and then call us, and we'll look it up in the system.
Okay.
But dogs usually are just a few blocks away from their home.
Right.
So it's better if they stay in that neighborhood. It's more likely that they'll find their
home.
owner. The way that they're coming in today is mostly police assist. People are calling, saying there's a dog, police are picking it up, calling us, and we're meeting police and bringing it in. But when it comes to owner surrender, again, we're saying, what do you need? Why is it that you're coming to surrender this dog? And we're trying to assist people so that they can stay with their dogs. because we're overpopulated. We have 630 dogs, which is double the capacity. Yet we're still bringing in over 100 dogs a week.
Wow.
And that's with us saying, please don't bring them if you're just moving. Try to find another home for the dogs. So just from strays on the street, we're bringing in over 100 dogs a week.
Do you ever have the experience where a dog is found, you guys scan it, and the owner doesn't?
Yeah.
Just okay.
Right. Yeah. So they'll say, oh, no, I lost it a long time ago, or I gave it to someone else. But a lot of the dogs, we know that they were in a home because so many of our dogs are potty trained. So that brings me back to volunteering. If you have time in the morning to come and volunteer, even for an hour, we really need help getting all those potty trained dogs
outside,
out. Yeah, because
walked.
Exactly. They're sitting there holding their bladder. It's uncomfortable for them. It's not healthy for them. But our staff has so much to do in the morning between the feeding and the cleaning. It's really hard to get them all out.
Yeah.
And then finally, I wanted to remind everyone about our Paw Ventures, which is a foster program, but for the day.
Oh, okay.
So if you're in one of those homeowners associations, you love dogs, but you can't have a dog, you can come and take a dog for the day.
And go walk on the beach or something.
Yeah, well, they actually come into Doral most of the time. We see them filming throughout your city at little coffee shops and the little dog boutiques that you have.
Yeah.
So it makes it a great day for the dog.
Go have a lunch at the cafe with the dog outside.
That's right.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Annette, for coming and for helping educate our community and just understand a little bit more about what you all do and how we can help. I'm definitely going to keep it in mind for when students ask how they can participate or give back, get community service hours, because it's clear that you guys can use the additional hands and love on these loving animals, furry animals. So thank you very much for what you guys are doing. Please let us know if there's anything that we can continue to do to help and assist and get the word out. Remember, everyone, adopt, don't shop. There is great opportunities to bring a new furry friend home for your family right from Miami-Dade Animal Services. Any last messages or comments you want to have our audience know before we take off?
Just come visit us. Even if you just want to take a browse and promote us on social media, that's helping us.
Yes.
So come visit us and adopt, don't shop.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Annette. That's another episode of In the City con Christi, where we bring you all the greatest things that are happening in the greatest place to live, work, learn, and play, Doral. Thank you.